Okay, good morning to all of you. Is it visible? Ma, is it visible? Okay, so last class we have a discussion on protocols and standards. So we have already known that what is a protocol. A protocol is a set of rules that govern data communication. A protocol defines what is communicated, how it is communicated, and when it is communicated. So under this, the key elements are syntax, semantics, and timing. So syntax, in a sense, already I had stated that it is the structure or format of the data. Semantics refers to the meaning of each section of bits, and timing is going to represent with how fast the data can be sent. And standards are essential. They are going to be created in order to perform a task that is called as data communication. So then after that we have some protocol layering also, that how the protocols are going to be designed means, so we have divided each and every network into some layers. Divide means we are not constructing them. Okay, just assumption is going on. From this position to this position, it is one layer. So like that, we have some different layer classification done at both sender side and receiver side. Okay, what is the need? Why we need to design, or why we need to have a layers means, in order to reduce the designing complexity, we will go for layers. We assume that at each sender and receiver the network have been classified into some number of layers. So under that, the very important topic is reference models, that is which is in your syllabus. According to our syllabus, the main important two reference models are OSI reference model and TCP/IP reference model. But now first we start up with, already we had discussion on this, right? So first we start up with OSI reference model. So what do you mean by OSI? Here OSI stands for Open System Interconnect Model, or interconnection also you can call it as. Okay. Open System Interconnection. It is established and approved by ISO, that is International Standards Organization. This model has 7 layers, and this model is also called as ISO OSI reference model. That is our first model, very important model. See here, the network have been classified according to this model into 7 layers. Coming from top, application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. Okay, so already we had a discussion that application layer is going to provide interface between the users. That also we have discussed. And coming for presentation layer, it deals with syntax and semantics of the data. Syntax and semantics means nothing but what? Is the format of data correct or not? It will be verified by this layer. That means data will come from upper layer to lower layer at sender side, but at receiver side data move from lower layer to upper layer. Remember that. Okay. Now session layer. It is going to have, or it maintains some session between remote ports, and transport layer is responsible for delivering data from sender to receiver, and network layer is responsible for routing data into some from source to destination, nothing but from sender to receiver. Data link layer is responsible for reading and writing data and finding the errors, detecting the errors at each and every layer. Then physical layer is nothing but it is a cabling wire, power outputs or pulse rates, etc. Now we will discuss about each and every layer in detail. See here, in OSI reference model we had totally how many layers? Means 7 layers. starting from application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, physical layer. Okay, so totally we had how many layers? 7 layers, both at sender side and at receiver side. See here. Our data transmission will be from sender side. See the arrow mark here. Data comes from upper layer to lower layer, and through physical link it is going to be transmitted to receiver, and receiver will get the data from lower layer to the upper layers, from lower layer to upper layers. That will see here what are the different services provided by each and every layer at sender side and at receiver's side. Okay, so see here once again, it is 7 layers. When it is at sender side, data is coming from upper layer to lower layer. If it is at receiver side, data moves from lower layer to upper layer. Okay, now we are moving on to next. I think already we have a discussion on this, but anyhow we'll go through brief. So application layer services. An application layer provides or defines how an application process running on different end systems passes messages to each other. This is responsible for establishing a connection from one end user to another end user. And the type of messages, so whatever it may be, in particularly it is going to define with a type of messages, okay, and syntaxes, semantics, right? Rules also have been discussed here with the help of messages. So rules means nothing but you know that we had some set of protocols. So that is also going to be discussed under this. Then after that we had our presentation layer. So in this presentation layer, it translates data from application layer into uniform standard format. Actually, it is going to refer for syntaxes. For example, if our rules is one type and another person rule may be another manner. So like that, the data whatever you are going to send it should be in uniform format which must be accepted by the receiver. So that's why the data which is coming from upper layer, that is called as application layer. Now presentation layer, what it will do, it is going to convert it into uniform standard format. Uniform standard format, so that there will be no problem when the data is transmitted to receiver. If it is a uniform format, it must be accepted by our receiver. Not only that, it is also going to look after some data encryption and data compression. So why we go for data encryption? To provide security for our data. Why? Because you are sending some data from sender to receiver through physical medium. So at that time, in the network, there may be chance of hacking our data. So that's why we have to provide security to our data in order to not hack by any hackers. So that's why we go for data encryption and data compression. Already I had discussed with you that if image data size or any file, if the size is large enough, we go for compression, so that it may consume less bandwidth and occupy less space, and it may take less time for data transmission. That's why it is also going to look after with data encryption and data compressions. And coming for session layer, so it is going to control the dialogues, nothing but connections between the computers. It establishes, manages and terminates the connection. So for example, what is the establishment, what is managing, what is this connection, you know very well. Suppose if you want to contact to your friend through phone, what we will do first, we will dial a number, right? So after dialing the number, the connection is going to be established from user you to the another person. Once you had a communication and your communication is stopped, what we will do, we will release the connection. Okay, that means we will off the connection. So like that, the session layer is important. For what purpose? For establishing the connection, for managing the connection, and for disconnecting the connection. So this is the purpose of our session layer, which is acting as session administration service and session dialog service. Here what is happening? It is going to assist the entire thing what is going on from sender to receiver. That's why it is called as administrator. So session administration service is also going to be performed by this session layer. And some more I had added here in order to explain more about our session layer services. Just look after here. It provides robust communication across changes of endpoint addresses. Resynchronization transport protocol we will use here. Detect and handle disconnectivity. Suppose if there is a problem of disconnectivity, it going to detect that and it rectify that particular problem. Nothing but it manages the connection from sender to receiver until data transmission is completed, and manage related system sources like memory, timers, files, devices, everything, and marshal and store session state. These are some extra services what you are going to acquire with your session layer. See here the session layer, how the diagram is representing first. Listen. If you want to get data to session layer at sender side, it must come from presentation layer. This is session layer. And from session layer, it moves to the transport layer. Suppose if it is at receiver side, data moves from transport layer to session layer and session layer to the presentation layer. Is it clear? Any problem? Any disturbance? Okay, is it clear? Right? So I'll start my presentation. See here. So when it is at sender side, data is coming from presentation layer to the session layer and from session layer to the transport layer. Now, it is at receiver side means the data moves from lower layer to the upper layer. So, transport layer to session layer to presentation, and above to presentation layer what will be there? Application layer. So, like that the data transmission is going on now, and we move on to the next one, which is called as our transport layer. So till here we had a discussion on three different layers. First one is application layer, second one is presentation layer, and third one is our session layer. Okay, now we had a discussion on our next highest top layer, that is called as transport layer. So under this transport layer, the main duty of transport layer is, if message size is large enough, at that time we segment the data. Segment means divide them into some smaller pieces, which is called as segmentation or modules. That is at sender side. Suppose if it is at receiver side, what the transport layer will do? It again reassembles the data. Once it is divided, again it has to be reassembled. That is going to be performed at receiver's side. Not only that, connection control. It mainly focuses on two types of connections, that is connectionless and connection oriented service. Connection oriented service. So already I had discussed with you, in connection oriented service we have a proper feedback and proper acknowledgement from the sender. But in connectionless, sometimes we may don't have a proper feedback or a proper reliable acknowledgement. That is called as connectionless service. Okay, so that is about the services of transport layer. Mainly it provides two types of services, connectionless and connection oriented service. Not only that, if message size is large enough, it divides the messages into segments at sender side, and at receiver side the divided segments are again going to be reassembled and make it as a normal previous message what it has to be transmitted to the receiver. So that is our transport layer. Now coming for the next layer, which is called as network layer. So very important layer. Why? Because with the help of the network layer only, we are able to route our data packets. And one more thing, once it is coming to transport layer, it is divided into segments, right? Now after that, the data when it comes to network layer, they are divided into packets. Okay, the number of segmentations whatever we had, we divide them into some packets. Now, network layer. It is a source and destination. Mainly, it is concentrated on which one? Getting packets from source and passing the packets to the destination. In order to have this, so what it has to be do? That means designing issues. See here. Store and forward packet switching, services provided to the transport layer, implementation of connectionless service, implementation of connection-oriented service, and comparison of virtual circuit and datagram subnets. Of course, we will discuss about this in our third unit, but we will see a brief discussion about our network layer now. Now, in the network layer, the data will be in the form of packets. Just see the slide of this. At sender side, data comes from upper layer. So what is upper layer to the network layer means transport layer. The data from transport layer comes to network layer. When it comes to network layer, the data will be in the form of packets. Then after that, from network layer, data comes to data link layer. And it comes to physical layer. From physical layer, again at receiver side, it moves to data link layer, and from data link layer it moves to network layer. Again it is in the form of packets. So once the data is entered into the network layer, it is divided into packets. Okay, that is about the services what a network layer will provide. First of all, you have to remember that the main functionality of network layer is to route data packet from sender to receiver, to route the data packet from sender to receiver. And once the data is at sender side means it comes from transport layer to the network layer. It is in network layer means it is in the form of packets, and the packets are next passed to data link layer. Once the packets are entered into data link layer, in the data link layer, the packets are again divided into frames. And from frames in the physical layer, we divide them into bits. And again from physical layer, the bits are sent to data link layer is converted to frames. Frames are again further converted to packets. Packets are again reassembled here. Here you are going to segment, right? So that segmentation here, what you will do? Again, you will reassemble those packets. Okay, that is about our network layer. So under network layer, we have a very important protocol which is called as IP, okay, Internet Protocol. Very important protocol. Of course, we'll discuss about all these protocols in the next topic. So that is about a brief information regarding network layer. So we had discussion on first one which is called as application layer, then presentation layer, then session layer, then transport layer, then network layer. Now we will discuss about our next layer which is called as data link layer. In short form, we call data link layer as DLL. Data link layer. Very important. Okay. So when it is at sender side, data comes from network layer to the data link layer. When the data is in network layer, it is in the form of packets. Once the packets are coming from network layer to data link layer, they are converted to frames. So in this data link layer, the data packets are converted to frames. Suppose if it is at receiver side, that frames are converted to, that means the bits are converted to frames. Okay. Now the main functionality is services provided to the network layer. Always remember that lower layers provide services to upper layer. That means presentation layer provides services to application layer, and session layer provides services to presentation layer. Oh, 1 minute. So always lower layer provides services to upper layer. That means presentation layer provides services to application layer, session layer provides to presentation layer, transport layer provides to session layer. Network layer provides services to transport layer. Now data link layer provides services to which layer? Network layer. Okay, like that. And physical layer provides services to which layer? Data link layer. Okay, so now we had this, that's why we had here services provided to the network layer. Always lower layers provide services to its upper layers. And framing concept, so that means the data which is coming in the form of packets are converted to frames. And this data link layer is also responsible for error control. It is going to verify whether you are sending what the data you are sending, is it correctly received to the receiver or not. It is going to be called as error control. Suppose you are sending some data, those data will be in the form of bits, generally zeros and ones. Instead of 0, if it is placed as 1, what will happen? Entire data will be modified. So that verification is very, very important. So that's why checksum is also very, very important concept under error control. So what is checksum means? Suppose you had some 8 bits of data. You are sending some 8 bits of data. Sometimes the hacker may add extra data. At that time, 8 bits will become 9 or 10 or 11. So if you place it checksum, the receiver will check the checksum. Suppose if it is 8 under the checksum, but it is receiving as 11 bits, he will discard that data packet. Why? Because it is not correct. Why? Because in a checksum it is mentioned as 8, but he is receiving it as 11. So that means there is some additional data have been added by hacker. Similarly, you are sending 8 bits of data, you have mentioned in the packet checksum field, but it is receiving to the receiver as 6 bits. That means some data is missing. So at that time also, he will discard that package. He won't accept the package. Okay, that is called as error control. And what is this flow control? Flow control means speed. Speed should be controlled. Suppose if data packets coming from sender are more, they are coming, but receiver is not able to accept the packets, what will happen? The lines will be waiting in, the packets will be waiting in the queue, and sometimes the packets may be lost. That's why it has to control the flow at both sender side and at receiver side. That is called as flow control. That is called as flow control. So totally we had how many here mainly services of data link layer means services provided to the network layer, framing, error control, flow control. Flow control means nothing but fast sender and slow receiver. Suppose if I am taking a class for you, now I will become sender and you people are becoming as a receivers. Okay. Suppose if I am going to take a class for 2 hours, if I complete one unit, then what you people can understand, you cannot understand anything. That means I have to slow down. Okay. But sometimes it may be the problem at receiver also. I am taking the class regularly and I am in a normal speed, but you people are not listening. That is your problem, right? That is a problem at receiver side. Like that, we have to check whether the problem is at sender side or receiver side, and we have to slow down the process. So this is called as flow control. Flow means nothing but what? The passing, data passing should be controlled. It may be at sender side or it may be receiver side. Suppose if the fault is at sender side, he has to rectify it. And if receiver side problem is there, we will change the processor. Okay, so this is called as the services of our data link layer. Now, data link layer designing issues, anyhow, we'll discuss it in the second unit. See, once again, providing a well-defined service interface to the network layer, dealing with transmission errors, regulating the flow of data so that slow receivers are not stamped by fast senders. You just observe the diagram carefully now. Sending packet, this is sending mission, this is receiving mission. Nothing but sender, receiver. Generally, this is about data link layer. Data packet is coming from which layer? Network layer to the data link layer. When the data link layer get the packet, it contains some header, payload field, filer. This is called as frame. Now it has to be passed to the receiver. Receiver receives it and it further converts into packet and sends to the upper layers. Okay, so this mechanism is going to be followed in our data link layer. Okay. Now, what actually these are all we'll see in the next coming second unit. Just I had here given with all these data, but now no need of all this. Just see services of data link layer, framing and link access, reliable delivery, flow control, error detection, error correction. But we will see what is error detection and error correction. What are the different methods we had to detect and correct the errors. Half duplex and full duplex. Now this is already we have seen the diagram. Sending machine coming from network layer in the form of packet converted to frames in the data link layer and again passed to the receiver's machine in the form of frame and again when it reaches to network layer it is in the form of packet. Next. Now, so after right, just see here. Physical layer. So after data link layer, what is the next lower layer means? Physical layer is our lower layer. Physical layer transports data in the form of electromagnetic signals across a transmission medium. Okay, once the data is coming from data link layer in the form of frames, further the frames are converted to bits. Bits means nothing but zeros and ones. 0 means absence of voltage, 1 means presence of voltage. So like that, the data is going to be transmitted to the receiver in the physical medium in the form of signals. Okay, so that is looked after by our physical layer. So not only that, the physical layer is a code violation is also one of the mechanism here. See here how data will be transmitted. Suppose signals 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. See how binary encoding is there. Suppose if it is 1 bit, the signal is present high. 0 means low. 0 means low. 0 low. 0 low. Again the next bit is 1 so high. Signal is high. Signal is present. Low means no signal. High means signal is present. Again 0 means no signal. Low. Again 1 means all high. Like that. Now, this is a normal binary encoding method. But in Manchester encoding, okay, we'll discuss again this in the second unit, no problem. In the Manchester encoding, what is happening is, it is completely different. Sometimes there may be missing of the data like this, we may confuse. That's why what it has been done is, suppose if it is 1 bit, first half is up, second half is low. If it is 0, first half is low, second half is up. Okay, so once again I'll repeat, just see. In Manchester encoding, if it is 1 bit, the signal will be present. First half will be up, second half will be low. If it is 0, first half will be low, second half will be up. Right? So this mechanism is going to be followed. So this is called as Manchester encoding. So we will discuss more about this in the next coming topics. See. Sending machine, receiving machine. Data comes from application layer to transport, actually transport presentation to transport, transport to session. This is about TCP actually. Just see here. Upper layers, application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link and physical layer. Okay, so this is about our OSI reference model. So with this we had our first reference model we have completed. Suppose if you are feeling any difficulty or any doubts you had, you can just ask me now. I'll give you 5 minutes of time. Again, we start with second reference model. If anybody you have a doubt about our OSA reference model, you can ask me. You please unmute yourself and you can ask me, or else you can message me. No problem. Anybody. No doubts. Shall I start next topic? Okay. Right. Very good. Somebody is asking about physical layer violation. Very good. See. When you see here, generally, if you are transmitting 1 bit of data means the signal will be high in binary encoding. And if it is 0 means signal will be low means no signal at all. Okay. So like this, if it is indicating 0 with no signal, what is happening? Sometimes if power is off, there will be no signal. At that time, the receiver will treat it as 0. So because of this problem, we had another mechanism called as Manchester encoding. So according to this Manchester encoding, so what is happening is, so in this Manchester encoding, if it is 1 bit, the first half will be up and second half will be low. And if it is 0, first half will be low and second half will be high. Just observe these 2 bits, you can get it clarity. 1 means first half high, second half low. 0 means first half low, second half high. So that mechanism have been followed. See here, it is 1 bit. So first half is up, second half is low. It is 0 bit. So first half is low, second half is high. 1 means again first half is high, second half is low. And that means each bit is divided into 2 parts. Okay, according to Manchester encoding, 2 parts. So in these 2 parts, if it is 1 means first half will be high mark, second half will be low. Suppose if it is 0, first half will be low, second half will be high. And we'll discuss about differential Manchester encoding later. Just you focus on only these two, binary encoding and Manchester encoding. So because of this, what is happening is, we may assume and we may have a chance of getting clarity that if any error is happening or not. Because of the signals, you can better understand is there any problem in the data transmission, that we will discuss in the next coming topics. But you people just remember, in binary encoding, 1 represents for first high and 0 represents for low, means presence of signal, absence of signal. But according to Manchester encoding, first half is high for 1, second half low. For 0, first half low, second half high. Opposite. Okay. So like that we have here about Manchester encoding. Clear? Next, anybody like this? If you have any problem, you can ask me. So we have 2 hours of time. No problem. You can ask me doubts so that I can explain. But you have to get the topic clearly. That's no doubts. Okay. So we had a discussion on which layer? Message me. We had a discussion on which layer? Sorry, which reference model? What is the name of reference model? Okay. Totally, how many reference models are there? Two reference models. 7 is nothing but number of layers, ma. Okay, 7 means number of layers. We have two reference models. The first reference model we have completed now. That is OSI. ISO, OSI also we can call it as. Now we will discuss about our second reference model, which is called as TCP/IP reference model. Okay. So before that, just wait for 5 minutes. I'll take attendance, and again we'll continue the class. Right. Just wait for 5 minutes, ma'am.
कैमरा ऑन है कॉल करते हैं
Okay. So now we start up with our next reference model. That is our TCP/IP reference model or protocol suite. Also, we can call it as. Is it audible, ma? Okay. So now we had our next second type of reference model, that is TCP/IP reference model or protocol suite. Also, we can call it as. Now TCP. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, or IP. IP stands for Internet Protocol. So based on this protocol, this reference model have been named it as TCP/IP reference model or protocol suite. Also, you can call it as. You just observe here. This is our OSI model, whatever we have discussed so far, which consists of totally 7 layers: physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. Now, this TCP/IP reference model has only 5 layers. Has only 5 layers. Remember this. Now, this application layer, presentation layer, sessional layer are combined it as application layer, and we had transport layer, we had network layer, we had this data link and physical layer, which are also combined here, but we separated it as a physical and totally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. See here, underlying LAN and WAN technology in these 2 layers, and internet is going to be worked in this IP, which is in our network layer. Then several transport protocols are present in transport layer, and application layer has some number of application protocols which we will discuss it now. Okay, so this is just the brief information about our TCP/IP reference model. Now, right. So this TCP/IP reference model, this is our second reference model after this OSI reference model. Now, coming for introduction here, the Internet Protocol Suite IPR TCP means Transmission Control Protocol is used for Internet and other similar networks. It is named for two most important protocols. Why it is called as TCP/IP means it has mainly two important protocols called as TCP. TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol, and IP here stands for Internet Protocol. So on behalf of these two protocols, this reference model is called as TCP/IP reference model. Okay, that is a small introduction about our TCP. And coming for here, this OSI model has 7 layers and TCP/IP has only 5 layers. So where we are combining physical and data link layer as link and physical, but it is also counted as 2. And network is otherwise called as internetwork, transport, and these three are combined it as a application layer. So that means OSI reference model has 7 layers and TCP/IP has only 5 layers. Now, so what are the 5 layers here? See, the first topmost layer is nothing but application, transport, internet, right, and network interface, nothing but both data link layer and physical layer. This is almost any new technologies. Internet means connectionless, best effort packet delivery. Transport means end-to-end message integrity with the help of two protocols, UDP and TCP. We'll discuss about all these protocols in detail now. Okay. Next, application consists of higher layers like higher protocols, SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, SNMP, Network Management, WWW, HTTP, World Wide Web, and other services. Now after to this, just see here the two layers OSI model and TCP/IP reference model. Now in this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 actually session layer, right? But now here we had only the 5 layers where the last 2 layers are combined into one. Now TCP/IP architectural model, that is in the topmost layer it has these protocols like FTP, file transfer protocol, DNS, domain name systems, RIP, reverse internet protocol, SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, okay, and Telnet, SNMP, that is a management protocol. These are all present in application layer. And in transport layer, we have two protocols called TCP and UDP. And in internet layer or network layer, it consists of IP protocol, that is internet protocol. Now in the lower layers, it is Ethernet or token ring, where the connection is going to be established from sender to receiver. Okay, so that's actually we had a discussion brief view on our TCP/IP reference model. Now, when coming for the topmost layer, which is called as application layer. So, in the application layer of TCP/IP, it is combination of all 3 layers: application, presentation, and session. So, this layer is comparable to the application, presentation, and session layer of the OSI model, all combined into one. It provides a way for applications to have access to network service, right? Now, this layer also contains high-level protocols. So, this layer topmost layer consists of some high-level protocols. So, what is application layer means? Here, totally 3 layers of OSI are combined into one in our TCP/IP reference model. It contains some high-level protocols. The main issue with this layer is the use of both TCP and UDP protocols. For example, TFTP, UDP. These are some examples that what are the simple mail transfer protocols which are present in our topmost layer. So we'll discuss about all. UDP, it is user datagram protocol. TFTP means tribal file transfer protocol. All this. Now see here the host of our uh, server it is a sender to receiver. Coming from application transport network data link to medium, it is going to move to this particular one. So like this data transmission will be going on in the TCP/IP from sender to receiver. Same from upper layer to lower layer, and again from lower layer to upper layer. Data transmission will be moving on. Now what is our next layer is transport layer. This layer acts as a delivery service by the application layer. Again, two protocols uses here, TCP and UDP. Okay, one is connection oriented, the another one is connectionless. At the same time, transport layer handles for error detection and recovery. But actually, error detection is going to be done in OSI reference model by our data link layer. But here, the errors are going to be detected by this transport layer itself. At the same time, checksum, acknowledgements, timeouts, everything will be looked after by our transport layer. So what is our next layer? Network layer, otherwise call it as internet layer. Network layer, otherwise call it as internet layer. This is a layer known as internet layer. The main purpose is to organize the movement of data on the network, that means transmission of data from sender to receiver. It contains one main protocol called as IP, that is Internet Protocol. Okay, and some that means commands. Popular command used is ICMP and IGMP are the commands which are going to be used. Now coming for this internet layer or network layer, otherwise call it as network layer, no problem. So in this, it is acting as an interface here between transport to the data link layer, and communication deals with media through the transfer of data over the network. And most of the cases, this is in the form of cables, But some of the famous protocols are ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, and PPP, Point to Point Protocol. Okay, so that's our. So that means here we have a discussion on our TCP/IP reference model, which is containing the only 5 layers. Okay, that is our second type of reference model. Now after that, we had the next topic. We need to compare both OSI model and TCP/IP model. In this comparison, you can say clearly that we all were clear that in OSI model we have 7 layers, but in TCP/IP we has only 5, but 4 also we can call it as. That means what is happened here? Number of layers have been reduced in our TCP/IP. The comparison is very important here. See the comparison here, that is a TCP/IP reference model and OSI reference model, which is defined after the advent of internet, but before. OSI is a static reference model. Based on this model, this TCP have been designed, but it has been designed after the invention of our internet. Before that, we don't have this model. Okay. And service interface and protocols were not clearly distinguished. Yes, very good. In TCP model, we don't have a proper distinguish from one layer to another layer, but here it is clearly distinguished. So service interface and protocols are clearly explained in our OSA reference model. Next, TCP/IP supports internet working. Okay, but OSI it may also used for without internet also. Interworking is not supported. It is loosely layered, it is strictly layered. Why? Because it is called as loosely layered. In some, that means TCP/IP, somebody says it is 4 layers, somebody says it is 5 layers. But it's in the OSI model, there will be no that such type of options. Definitely, it must be a 7 layers, so it is called as strict layering. Now, protocol dependent standards. There is protocol independent. That means this model mainly based on protocols, but it is not based on protocols. Based on model, the protocol have been designed here. This is more credible and this is less credible. And TCP reliable delivery is going to be happen. All back and sometimes it is actionless, so there may be unreliability also. But here completely all packets are reliably delivered. Okay, that is a comparison going on between these two reference models called as OSI and TCP/IP reference models. Okay. Okay. Still, any more doubts you had? If you have any more doubts, you can ask me, ma. Okay. Today I'll send some objective type questions, Google form. You have to answer it and submit it. Definitely today I will send you. It will be based on our previous classes. Okay, you have to submit that within 2 days. Today by evening or afternoon, I will send the Google form. You have to send me the responses as early as possible. Okay, so I think most of our first unit has been covered. That is, so what we have a discussion here. So in the first topics, we have some introduction on computer networks. Then after that, we discussed what are different topologies. Then after that, we had discussion on some types of networks, right? So like that, we have discussed what is data communication, and after that, we had some protocols and reference models. that is the OSI reference model and TCP IP reference model, right? And now we had a comparison between these two models also, that is OSI and TCP. So I think most of our syllabus have been covered here. So after that we'll see. Okay. So after that we will see the next coming topics. Reference models, comparison of reference models. So with this first part is completed now. First part, our first unit is completed. Second part is introduction to physical layer. Data signals, data and signals, transmission impairment, data rate limits, performance. Okay, so we'll start this in the next class. So till here, if you people have any doubts, okay, you can ask me. You can call me, or you can post here, or you can type the uh, message and you can send me. Otherwise, you can intimate me through phone also. So I think already I had given you my phone number also. If you don't have that, again I'll give you the number. If you feel any difficulty, you can ask me. Okay, this is my number. Next, one more thing I have already I had intimated you. Maybe I not remember that. So every semester we are doing our online courses, right? Similarly, now also we had some set of online courses. You please visit the website, that is www.swayam.gov.in. So why I'm saying here means, so everything you are doing through online now. If you do some of the people already have taken the exam also for last 2 semesters. Now again we had some set of courses. You please go through this website. If you feel any difficulty, you can call me and you can ask me. And the last date for registration will be September 14th month. So within, but actually some courses starts from September first week itself. You all please try to register some courses and utilize your time. Don't waste your time. Okay, that's my sincere request. And already I had posted here the website name also. You please visit that and try to register some courses. If you have any problem, you can ask me. Still any more doubts you had, you just unmute yourself and ask me. Any doubts regarding NPTEL or our class also? Now you can speak, no problem. No doubts. Somebody is asking fourth sem exams. Okay, so your final semester, eighth semester exams will be starting from September 7th month. But there is no clarity about your exams. But we cannot say that it is cancelled. We don't have any instructions. So that's why you have to wait for some more days. Okay, I'll send you unit 1 material also today. No, fifth sem fee you have to pay. Otherwise, you are not going to get your attendance. Even though I have joined you in the class, but attendance will not be posted. We'll check we had list. So you have to pay the fee through online. Already completed, ma. I don't know the due date, but you are not getting attendance if you have not paid the fee means. Okay, just go through that. If you want to know the due date, you can call to office. Java NPTEL exam. You have been sent with some mails, right? From support at nptl. Did you feel that? suppose if you have not filled the form, by default you will be cancelled. That means the exam will be cancelled and you will be getting your refund. Amount will be refunded to your account. Okay, now you can leave the class, ma.